Let's talk about wildfire mitigation. Now, I'm very involved in this world. My husband's a firefighter. I also help with the fire department with mitigation, outreach, and working with neighbors to talk about what this means. And many of you, especially if you live in the foothills, have probably seen this image that's out here. A lot of different fire departments and fire focused organizations out there use this as a tool, which really looks at the concentric circles around your home for the guidance around how much vegetation should be in those areas. And as was mentioned earlier, not having anything within 5 feet of your house. And then tree spacing, we look at the crowns of the trees so that the fire can't jump from tree to tree. Those are all guidelines that we're looking at to reduce the risk if a wildfire comes through. In addition to, we talk about removing what's called ladder fuel. So if you have a ground fire that's going around the grass and you've got some low-hanging branches, well, they're going to catch that first branch and that second and third, and it's going to go up the tree like a ladder. So, mitigating and removing those ladder fuels generally 6 feet from the ground will reduce that risk. And so there's a lot of different tools that are out there and guidance. And for those of you that live in the foothills, we have a really robust program. We're very fortunate that our local fire departments have created the ambassador program where you can reach out to a local neighborhood focused leader that's tapped in with the fire department, as a volunteer with the fire department, and can point you in the right direction with how to get a wildfire prepared assessment of your home, where a firefighter comes in and gives you that guidance specific to your property and your house. To local resources like arborists and tree contractors that can help you get that work done. We have a really robust slash collection program here in Jefferson County where you can bring your slash at a reduced rate. But with all the people that are doing the work out here, we know the science and we know that it works and it helps keep our fire risk down. But I guess my question for the panel, Jennifer and Dusty, is, will you have to mitigate your property if you want to keep your insurance? I mean, are there like annual inspections, or what does that look like in terms of the mitigation process?
Yeah. I'll start. So the answer to that is likely. The goal of any insurance company is ensuring that the risk is a good risk and that folks have done everything they can to mitigate that risk. And so looking at, a home and the various things that at the initial onset of the policy that they're going to require to even issue the policy, especially if one requires a wildfire survey, is going to be about are you prepared to best reduce the possibility of your house burning down from a wildland fire? And how can you help put yourself in the best position possible? With regards to, are there things after the policy has been taken out years later? Yes, there are reinsurance or underwriting surveys that do happen. And so I kind of alluded to that earlier. If they come out at that point and find you storing barrels of oil and firewood, they will ask you to remediate that in order to keep the policy in place. And just to kind of highlight again, that coordinated effort that I have seen in our community of all these different entities coming together to put us in a good position. On my drive to work, I see that they've been doing some mitigation along the roadsides, along 73, so that heaven forbid we have a large event and those trees that would have fallen on the roadway and prevented access are gone. And so I think the mitigation effort has definitely become top of mind for lots of people and lots of different entities that are working together to reduce our risk of both property loss and, even worse, loss of life. So to answer that, yes, you're likely going to have to do something to put your house in a position to be attractive to an insurance company.
Yeah.
The other thing you have to keep in mind, the mitigation part of it is ultimately for the homeowner's safety. Also, like, it's something that a homeowner should do, but unfortunately, it's not going to help you keep your insurance either. As much as I would love to say that, okay, if you do this, this, and this, you're never going to be dropped. That's honestly, unfortunately, not the case. You can have a very well-maintained, well-mitigated home and still struggle with keeping insurance or getting insurance, just because of the risk that is up here currently and how insurance companies are reevaluating that risk.
Sure. And, you know, as we look at, again, we've mentioned our local fire departments are doing such an awesome job of utilizing the ambassadors to get the word out on the best practices. And if we're all doing our part on our individual properties, I'm hopeful that the insurance industry will look at that as a reduced risk over time, the more that we're doing all of the work. And keep in mind, we do have on the websites for the fire departments, if you go there, you can find who your local ambassador is. So I know we've got Sharon, who's the ambassador for my community on the call right now. And so she does a wonderful job with sharing information and opportunities for people within the community. And so we are lucky to have dozens and dozens of ambassadors within all the different fire departments that are out there and really doing great work. So check with your fire department. They should have a list, or call them, because they'll be able to point you in the right direction with who your local person is on the ground.